Hi, I'm Chef Marshie Morgan, and what we're talking today is about the 7 principles of HACCP. If you need the food manager certification, you can find information about that class below. All right, let's dive in to HACCP. We call it HACCP, which is HACCP, which is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. So it's about these points in our flow of food where something can go wrong, whether biological, chemical, or physical. And our whole job is to keep food safe and to prevent a foodborne illness outbreak. So let's dive into those 7 principles and what those entail. Now, could this be a possible test question for your HACCP certification? Absolutely. Could it be a test question for the food manager certification? Absolutely, it could be. So understand HACCP is all about keeping food safe and keeping our community safe. Now, you need to understand that the plan is written and that not every establishment is required to have a HACCP. So, principle number 1 is first conduct a hazard analysis. So, what is that analysis? You are looking at your menu, you're looking at your kitchen layout, and you're going, okay, what could go wrong, biological, chemical, or physical? And you're gathering all that data based on that menu and the preparation that it takes to prepare that meal and get it out the door. Okay? Principle number 2 is determine the critical control points. So again, HACCP, HACCP, right? The last 3 letters is critical control point. Now, what is that? It's that point where something can go wrong throughout the flow of food, whether it's biological, chemical, or physical. So, our job is to determine where those points are. Maybe it's in the cooking process. Maybe it's in the cooling process or the chilling process or the thawing process. Or maybe just actually under the heat lamp process, right? Because you prepared extra in batches. So the next one, the third principle, is establish critical limits. Now, what does that mean? Critical limits. It's the minimum and maximum values. And the best way I know how to explain this to you is think about driving in your car. The speed limit says 55. Can't drive 55, right? I'm going to drive 60. Or I'm going to drive 45 on the highway. Now, are you going to get a ticket? More than likely, from going too slow to endangering people to going too fast, driving recklessly. So there is a minimum and maximum. So if the speed limit's 55, technically you could probably get by with 56, 57, right? But probably not 60. 61, they're going to pull you over. If you go too slow, so let's say the speed limit's 55 and you're going 54, 53, you're probably going to be okay and no one's going to say anything to you. Just get over in the slow lane, right? So what principle 3 is you're doing the minimum and maximum limits. So a lot of times we see this in the cooking temp. So we know that we should cook poultry to 165 degrees. But let's say you go, okay, that's the minimum, right? But at our place, we're going to cook it to 170 because we want to make sure. That's your prerogative that you could put in your HACCP plan. Okay, principle number 4. we are establishing monitoring procedures. Now, what does that mean? It means we're going to have our temperature log and we're going to actually check our temperatures. We're going to make sure that we do that periodically. We're going to use a thermometer. If we've got the line, maybe the thermometer we're using is an infrared thermometer. Okay? We're going to check from the top, where it's more exposed to the air, where it's probably not as cool. So we're going to establish those procedures for monitoring. Number 5, we're going to establish corrective action. What does that mean? We're going to fix it. We're going to fix when we see something that's wrong. And how do we fix it? We have to know, first of all, what could go wrong, right? Thus, we're creating the HACCP. And then the next thing is how do we fix it? We need to make sure that we're fixing it when we see a problem called corrective action. So whether, let's say we check our chicken and it's 150. Okay, this is a problem. I either need to reheat it to 165, I need to cook it to 165, or I need to get rid of it. So what it is that's a critical control point right there, and we need to fix it. We need to correct the action, and we need to do it immediately. All right, so here we go. Number 6 is establish verification procedures. What does that mean? I'm the manager. I'm the person that's in charge of quality control. I'm the one that has to make sure that it's being done and that corrective action is happening. That I am preventing possibility of a foodborne illness outbreak. To make sure that people are following the procedures correctly. Now, how do I do that? I do that by verifying. So I'm going and I'm testing with my own thermometer and I'm going, boom, let's test it. Let's make sure that that temp is correct based on the log. I'm verifying that they did their job. I test them and say, what's the danger zone, right? I am looking and making sure throughout those critical control point areas that things are being done correctly. Now, the last step or the last principle, 7, is establish record keeping and documentation. So I need logs proving that we've checked the temperatures. When the inspector comes, he's looking at those logs to make sure that the work was done. We're making sure that we are proving that we're doing food safety correctly, that we're doing our due diligence, and that we're following the rules of food safety. So let's review what those 7 principles are. Step 1 is we are doing a hazard analysis. Okay? Step 2, we are determining those critical control points of where something can go wrong, biological, chemical, or physical. Then the next thing we're doing is we're creating those critical limits. What are our minimums and maximums that we accept? And then we have principle number 4 where we're monitoring the procedures, we're checking those critical control points, and we're using a thermometer for an example. Number 5, we see something wrong, we get it fixed, we do training, we throw product out, we reheat, we do what is required of the situation. Then number 6 is establish verification procedures. This is going to be part of your SOP, your standard operating procedures. Then number 7 is that we're going to establish record keeping, and it can be digital or it can be written. Most people now are doing digital. but you must have the documentation. Document, document, document. Hope this helps. If you have any input, put it down in the comments below. Be blessed. And again, if you need that food safety class, look down below. Yours truly teaches it. Bye-bye.